Hello again, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
So, guys, this is our third attempt at a video today. We've had the power go out. I forget what the first one was. I forget if the computer just went down. No.
We had a visitor.
Oh, yeah, we had an interruption. Yeah, it's just been a crazy day, and here we go again. Please do check our website, evolutionaryenergyarts.com. And if you are interested in getting a Vedic chart done, a Vedic astrology chart, again, it's really cool to be able to understand why you came into this crazy matrix when you did. What purpose were you actually intending to accomplish?
Indeed, it's something, it's a nice tool to give us just some direction, because when it comes to awakening, gosh, we're just spread out in all different directions, and it can be really hard to lasso down just one thing, and that's a good tool to help us do that.
Yes, and you can reach us at evolutionaryenergyarts@gmail.com. I'm going to be getting rid of the Proton Mail one, as there's just an amazing amount of spam over there, and it just is just incredible. It's not exactly what I thought it was going to be, but then again, it's just the world we're in. Please do make sure you're subscribed. You got the little bell click to both channels. So Biden's Secret Service rental cars were left burned after catching fire in Nantucket. No, he didn't have a wild and crazy party, and all that. No, this was the day after. They had rented 5 Secret Service vehicles, and they all got fried. A variety of different vehicles. This was for him to go and visit family over in Nantucket Island, which is very affluent off the coast of Massachusetts and Rhode Island. And what could possibly have caused this? We don't have an explanation. So the Secret Service rented 5 cars from Hertz, all of them toast. Was this some sort of message? What do you think?
Indeed, what do you think? I mean, to me, it just looks like somebody is claiming to be in charge of something.
Yeah, and interesting, the fires and everything, because, last night I was getting not too pleasant visions of certain technologies. You know what I mean? And I don't mean D-O, I mean D-E-W. And, it's interesting that we see this, but this is kind of like how the guides work. I was getting that strong inclination of technology from the skies that could melt everything. And then, seeing this, I just saw this article a few hours ago, and it's very curious. There's a lot of curious things. Do you remember... And gosh, if I'm going to say this again, I'm waiting for something to go out again. Oh, do I say it? Yeah, there was all these naturopathic doctors that just died in a period of maybe like 10 years, but a real abnormal amount. Some under nefarious means where they know that, it was homicides. But, not easily solved, not even really solved, period. Hundreds, if not thousands of them. Naturopathic doctors. And then, of course, we've had the plague upon the land break out. Now, all of a sudden, we got billionaires dropping in suspicious ways, especially people associated with cryptocurrency. So here's a Russian billionaire who's 53, killed in a helicopter crash near Monaco. There was somebody else that was supposed to be on that copter that canceled at the last minute. They don't say who that was. That would be very, very curious. This comes just days after another businessman who was 30 associated with crypto died in his sleep. And this is the gentleman that we're talking about. And, here you have also Nikolai Mushigian, 29, drowned on a Puerto Rican beach after tweeting that he feared the alphabet soups were going to come and get him. Let me put out there as you see the helicopter. Please do send your positive intentions and prayers out there for all those that are trying to bring you what's really going on, because it is not a safe business to be in.
No, it's definitely, we're not popular, per certain organizations.
Yes. Though we do have, some support from some knights in shining white armor, and, they know who they are. Lawyer to private equity billionaire dies of self-inflicted gunshot wound on eve of tax fraud trial. You may know billionaire Robert F. Smith, 59, founder of private equity giant Vista Equity, as the richest black man in the U.S. with a net worth $8 billion. You might also know him for his escapades with the U.S. Treasury, which accused him of hiding tens of millions in income from the IRS and using the untaxed money to buy up expensive homes in California, Colorado, and France, as well as putting his girlfriend up in an expensive Manhattan pad. He's the same philanthropist who previously donated some $34 million in untaxed income to pay off student debt of some students at Morehouse College. This libertarian tax evader, however, never saw the inside of a jail. He escaped charges by agreeing to testify against his former business partner, former Reynolds & Reynolds CEO Robert Brockman, who was accused of hiding $2 billion from the IRS. The largest tax bust in U.S. history. Brockman died earlier this month, by the way. He didn't get completely away with it. However, the Vista Equities boss was hit with $139 million in fines for his admitted tax evasion. And while you may or may not know Bob, you probably don't know and never heard of Houston lawyer Carlos Kepke, who had been set to go on trial Monday in San Francisco federal court on charges of conspiring to defraud the IRS and aiding and abetting the filing of false tax returns by Bob. And you never will, because he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound to his head on Sunday in his bedroom. Yeah, I wonder if it was in the front or in the back and what type of angle. All these things. But, we could go on with people that have died under mysterious circumstances when you go up against the big power brokers on this planet.
It is. It's quite treacherous.
And this is Governor Kristi Noem of South Dakota. And she says, today I signed an executive order that bans the Chinese social media platform TikTok for state government agencies, employees, and contractors using state devices. South Dakota will have no part in the intelligence gathering operation of the CCP. Good for her, right? Because this is exactly what many people are seeing. And again, we still do have thousands of acres in Texas on the border that's controlled by such an entity as what we're talking about right here. And we also have some monkey business going on in Florida. There's so much going on. Now they're rolling out the tanks just like Tiananmen Square there because of the uprisings in China. They're rolling in the military en masse. Again, it's not going to be that easy to overthrow something so well entrenched. As you see the stormtroopers rolling down the streets, this is truly a dystopian nightmare, but as you see the quote here, it's Klaus Schwab's dream. Yeah, I think this is his kind of dream. And again, when you see that photo of him and his father, Eugen Schwab, you got to wonder about time travel or some anti-aging properties, because it looks like one and the same person.
Yeah, I can't hardly tell much of a difference at all.
I don't think there is any difference, honestly. And I'll bring it up again and show you guys again. We've shown it before. It feels like him. It feels like his energy totally. And again, Germany, Italy, Japan, they did lose World War II. But did the N period, A period, Z period, I period? No. That's something totally different. Paperclips. I am witnessing history in the making, says a protester in Shanghai. Yeah, well, here we go. Protests demanding an end to the lockdowns broke out in center Shanghai on Sunday following outrage over an apartment building fire, which killed 10 people on that day. And, there was a video which I didn't link to, which just showed somebody trying to escape that fire any way they could, and then they ended up dropping. It's horrible what we've seen. These people have been locked inside these buildings. And it's just a travesty, but it is, again, it's the system that certain powers envision everywhere. This is a video that I did back on January of 2018. So this is basically 5 years old. And I was sharing what I had gotten in a series of dreams, and then after the dreams and actual meditation, as well, seeing what was coming. And I'm just going to play a little bit for you guys.
And it's all up to us, to shift our focus to the right areas and to change, potentially negative outcomes into positive ones. But these dreams were very, very vivid and very clear, and they showed the same thing happening over the years. And I just got different glimpses of it from, I believe, slightly different perspectives of what could happen. And so when I first had the dream, it was in my first apartment, and it was 84, 85-ish, and I was living in Connecticut. And the thing that really hit me was it felt like I jumped 30, 40 years in the future. It was a much more advanced way of life, but not Jetsons-ish or anything, but just things were different than they were in the 80s, which obviously they are now. The thing that hit me about this, as I try to get to the right picture, the first thing that hit me was the fact that there were these things in the sky, and they just monitored everybody. And to me, they looked like giant eyes. They were roundish. It sort of looked a lot like this picture. And they just basically watched everything that everybody did. Every move that everybody made was being monitored and was watched. And to me, they looked a lot like this. They were basically eyes in the sky, and that's what I felt they were. So they were a means to watch us. Now, I don't know what type of technology this was, or even if it was technology, in some sense they almost felt kind of alive in my dream. But you got to realize this is going way back to the time before drones and things like that. And so it was just that there were these gigantic eyes everywhere watching everything. So every move anybody made at pretty much any time, you were being watched, constantly surveilled. And I don't know who was doing this, but it felt very ominous. And it felt like there was just no privacy. There was no such thing as privacy, because everybody was constantly watched, constantly monitored. And again, this is going back into the mid-'80s. And as drones have become popular, it's clicked with me that maybe what I was seeing was drones and the use of drones, but the use of drones to a degree where you're going to walk on a street and you're going to see a handful of them on every street.
And, this goes into other things too, including when I was getting those visions of the invasion of the U.S., which I think now is probably maybe a couple years away. Sometime between now and probably 2025-ish, I think we'll watch this happen. It depends on the powers that be, and it really depends so much on how fast people wake up. Now, this is over here, over in China, in Baishan City. And so, yeah, this is exactly what I was seeing and envisioning, but on a bigger scale. And so this person says in China, the police drones are everywhere. Stay home, follow orders, or we will arrest you. And he doesn't think it's going to happen in the U.S., but I do think it is. I think we will have resistance here. But, this is part of the plan that's being put out there right now. As you see all these drones in the sky spraying unidentified disinfectant chemicals all over the city. Yeah, it's exactly part of that next step. And here we see all the people lined up. They're going to their quarantine centers. And you can see this is a city. This is a city. And they're being herded by the stormtroopers all around them, bringing them into their new home away from home. Home away from home. Look at the size of these things. Again, this is Guangzhou City in China. 90,000 people here. We saw another one with 87,000. We've seen a whole bunch of these things being built all over the place. Of course, we have ghost cities over in China too. Don't forget, we have very similar stuff with the FEMA, short-term, hopefully short stay when there's a disaster like a hurricane and stuff. And this is also FEMA containers. Has that same feel, the same vibe. When you look at Mao's Great Revolution, again, the people, all about the people. No, it's not about the people. It's never about the people. It's all about just changing the leadership at the top so a new group gets to dine in luxury and live, an exorbitant life while the masses suffer and never move ahead. And so it doesn't matter, again, when we see these great leaps forward. It's never truly a great leap forward. And it killed 45 million people in 4 years. That's a lot of death. It's, again, that was an extermination that it rivals, any world wars that we know of in modern times, as was alluded to again, by Oppenheimer. Washington approves $1 billion in arms sale to Qatar. Yeah, when you look at it, it's all about policing humanity. It's not about protecting us. It's all about, again, control, and makes profits. It makes tremendous profits, and it keeps the power brokers in power. And meanwhile, we see Europe's imports of Russian LNG, which is liquefied natural gas, increased by 42%. So ruble is rubbish is what 46 said. No, not at all. And this is all about shifting the power, and it's exactly the opposite, which usually we know if we listen to these guys, these two lovebirds, and we take what they say and we inverse it, then you're getting a little closer to actually getting some truth.
Mm-hmm. To now is, what are they saying, so we can reverse it and figure out the truth. It doesn't just go with these guys. It goes with everything that is considered to be part of the larger power system. Everything is backwards. Everything. Completely
backwards. And so, what are we going to do? Well, again, I would hardly recommend getting out into nature. Make sure you have time for some play, as well as prepare. Obviously, we want to prepare in every way, physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and unplug. It's after we had a lightning strike and basically turn off the power in the house, and the TV wasn't working, and then it said to Cindy, do we get another TV? Because we kind of use it for our work, but then at the same time, all the TVs nowadays are smart TVs for the most part, and it's just another means for surveillance, and part of us is just dying to completely unplug. But we still got work to do, and as long as we can reach people, we're going to reach people. And then when that gets to the point where we're unable to communicate that way, then we'll do what we can to help people locally, wherever that local spot is. And that local spot, I do think, will change over time, because I do think, the best laid plans, and we do know people that have, amazing farms, homesteads and stuff, but with what's coming, you got to be ready for anything. We've seen mass migrations of people on this planet in the past, and it's happening right now. Again, look at what happened in Ukraine. Everybody out. Now, a lot of people are coming back in. They might all be going back out again, or a big percentage. You know what I mean? Again, evacuate. The war is right behind us. When I'll put the link to that video I was showing you that I did back in January of 2018, and as we head towards January 2023, the knowing that January 2023, we are in the thick of it, guys. I mean, 2023, and then we have 2024. I mean, hang on tight. This is going to be some of the most intense ride that you have been on.
Mm-hmm. Get prepared.
Absolutely. And these guys, I think, they got one of my votes for cutest little things on the planet. Those guys are adorable. Do nice acts of kindness for each other. Maybe it's a little back scratch. And, look at this guy. I mean, recognize again, there's a lot less difference between the animals and us than most people want to think. Most people want to look at things from that biblical perspective where it says, go ahead and take dominion over the earth. No, live in a harmonic, symbiotic relationship with the earth instead of trying to take dominion over it and all the creatures. If we live in harmony, it's only going to benefit us. Only going to benefit us all. This system has no harmony to it. It's very, very disharmonious. Love one another. It doesn't matter, what color, what creed, what nationality, what species, because the soul is the eternal part, and that soul will experience many different shapes, sizes, many different vehicles during its journey.
And souls recognize each other. They recognize one another in so many different ways. Vibrational frequencies, when they match up, they're magnetic. So, these guys probably had a past life together, and it's just a knowing inside of them.
Absolutely. So as always, guys, thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. We couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you, Uncle Joe, for your support over on Patreon. Uncle Joe is our newest Patreon, and we want to thank him for the work that he does, shining his light and pushing back the darkness.
Indeed. Thank you.
Much love. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.